Can I ask you something? When was the last time you actually felt stable? Not numb, not just coping, and not just fine, but actually grounded, clear, centered, and truly yourself. Because if you're watching this, I'm willing to bet that that feeling is becoming harder and harder to reach, and even harder to hold. And here's the thing, it's not your fault. The world right now is going through something unprecedented, a shift in frequency, a shift in density, and a great destabilization before a return to a new level, more expanded level of harmony. And you're feeling it. We're all feeling it. Even if you've switched off the news, even if you're meditating every single day, even if you're doing everything right, you can still be bumped. So today, I'm going to explain why. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what it looks like when someone comes back into stability, what actually happens, and what's been missing from the conversation. And here's what I know to be true. The more stable your resonant frequency field is, the happier, healthier, and more abundant you ultimately become. This is not just philosophy, this is quantum reality. Because the universe is always responding to your resonant frequency field. Stable frequencies look like calm and joy and clear thinking, not being flustered, but rather being centered and whole, to be fully and truly who you are. They carry a harmonic geometry that creates and materializes more harmonic geometries, more coherence, and more flow. But here's the problem. Right now, the collective field is in chaos. Frequencies are becoming more chaotic before they return back to harmonic states of being. That's how density shifts work. That's how transformation works. Things always move into what we might consider more chaos before it moves into harmony. Just like with cymatic patterns, that when you play one frequency and then shift into the next frequency, everything moves into chaos before it moves back into harmony once again. This is the nature of reality. And the bumps, they're getting even stronger. Even if you consciously choose not to engage with the chaos, even if you step away from things like social media and watching the news, the energy is so strong right now that it can reach you anyway, which is exactly why stability isn't optional. It's an absolute imperative right now. Let me tell you about a client of mine. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah came to me exhausted, not just physically tired, but the kind of tired that lives in your bones. She'd been running her wellness practice for 6 years, genuinely helping people, genuinely passionate. This wasn't someone who had given up on life, but something had shifted. She couldn't sleep, her digestion was wrecked. She'd get anxious before client sessions that she used to love. Her relationships felt strained, like she was always slightly out of reach of the people she cared about most. On the surface, nothing was wrong, but everything felt off. When we mapped her chakra frequency field, what we found was a system in chaotic destabilization. Years of overgiving, EMF exposure, unprocessed grief from a family lost 2 years prior, and a nervous system locked in a low-grade survival response. The body wasn't broken, it was broadcasting loud and clear that it had lost its coherence. Now here's what I want you to understand about destabilization. It doesn't always arrive as a crisis. Most of the time it creeps in quietly, as an irritability that wasn't there before, as motivation that slowly drains, as that growing sense that you're going through the motions of life that used to make you feel alive. The body is an energetic frequency system, and when the system loses coherence, every layer of your being feels it. So what did we do for Sarah? Well, we began with the foundations. Let me share with you. So there's three key aspects of this that we need to remember and understand. The first is, if we're going to come back into, or at least hold stability, then we have to call forth some of the aspects that have actually been hidden and taken away from us. So even though the world's in chaos, some of the resources to help us to come back into and hold stability have been hidden from us. So the first thing we need to do is obviously awaken those aspects that are still in existence but have really been sort of hidden and kept away from us. When we do that, when we come back into that awakening, we start to realize and see a greater level of truth appearing. And the way we do that, and certainly in the process that we utilize, is to not only tap into the 7 aspects of the chakra that I'm sure you're familiar with, those 7 key sort of chakras that have been used for many, many years. But what we actually want to do is awaken the 5 extra chakras, those that have been sort of hidden or kept away from us. When we do that, we can fully awaken the 13 chakra system and therefore come back into a more truthful and therefore real stable state. Once we've sort of awoken that, we then need to step into a space of activation. To be able to activate, it's one thing to awaken and see and understand and feel those chakras. We now need to activate those chakras so that we can really step into a world of infinite possibility, which is absolutely the truth of the universe and our existence. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate a couple of different aspects of this. Firstly, we're going to activate the front and back chakras as normal. We're going to activate those front and those back chakras for the whole 13 chakra system. Second, we're going to activate the left and the right aspect because the chakra system has 4 aspects to it. Front, back, left, and right. So we need to activate the left and right, which for the most part, even in the 7 chakras, has been shut down and sort of hibernated or hidden away from us. Then what we need to do is we need to step into this sort of infinite nature of possibility, and we need to really align and maybe what we might call sort of cycle through these chakras to really activate each of the frequencies that these chakras hold. Finally, we need to then align and make sure the system is working really in a coherent state, working in coherence with itself, that each chakra is working with each chakra, and there's this beautiful spiral flow that's moving up through the chakras. So when we activate the 13 chakras, we want to work with the spiral of creation, but the spiral of stability that helps to bring all of the chakras into alignment and into a coherent state of being. We want to make sure that this coherence is working across the 4 key aspects, which is the front, back, left, and right. And then finally, we want to bring everything into coherence with time, space, and dimension, looking at the 52 chakras and how they spiral up through the body over a 12-month period. And in some respects, not only are we sort of activating or awakening, right? Awakening more of these chakras than obviously the 13 chakras themselves. So the whole chakra system, giving us access to more of the truth and helping us to fully awaken. We are also awakening other aspects as we come into this alignment and coherence. And so as we come into that and activate front and back, left and right, and the full cycle of chakras, we are going to step into that infinite level of possibility to have that centeredness, stability, calm, abundance, happier, healthier way of being. And this is what we really want to activate. And finally, that alignment where we're going to bring the system back into a coherent state by activating the 13 chakra spiral. So we once again come back into a harmonic relationship with the universe. The four aspects, so that we're dealing with every part of our being, and finally time, space, and really dimension, where we're going to be able to utilize, come back into alignment and harmony with the natural order of time itself. This is going to help us to align with things like the old 13-month calendar, which used to be in existence. And we come back into natural order. This is the work that's going to help us to restore harmony, to help us to restore a harmonic biofield. And this is exactly what I did with Sarah. Targeting specific chakra frequencies that her system had sort of lost access to. We addressed the emotional imprints that were holding her nervous system in a real, contraction state, a destabilized state. We gave her body the vibrational language it needed to return to its own beautiful intelligence. And what happens next is what I want you to sit with. Because within 3 weeks, she was sleeping through the night for the first time in 18 months. Her digestion settled. The pre-session anxieties totally dissolved. But more than symptoms, and this is the part that really matters most, she said, I feel like myself again. Not a better version, not a fixed version, but her true self again. The frequency of who she actually was had come back online. And then something extraordinary happened. Her income increased. Her relationships deepened. She started a creative project she'd abandoned years before. Not because we targeted any of those things, but because when a human system returns to coherence and back into harmony, being that stable state, every area of life begins to reorganize around you. Recognize that stability, reorganize around you. This is the truth conventional medicine hasn't caught up with yet. Stability isn't just the absence of systems, it's an active generative state. When your frequency field is coherent, your body heals more efficiently, your mind thinks more clearly, your relationships become more nourishing, your capacity to hold space for others in a clinical situation, but anywhere, expands in ways that cannot be forced or faked. Sarah's story isn't unusual. It's what I see over and over again in my clients, and maybe yours as well, and especially at this time. The moment someone returns to that stable harmonic state, life reorganizes. Not someday, but absolutely right now. But here's what I really need you to hear. The body wants to come back into a stable, harmonic state. That desire, that pull towards coherence is built into your biology. The issue is that the mechanisms, systems, and energetic templates required to fully repair and align back into stable, coherent state were really stripped back and stripped away. Deliberately or not, we've been given half the pieces of the puzzle and told to complete the picture. And it never completes. You do the work, you feel better for a while, then life bumps you, and you're back to where you started, or close to it. That's not a failure of willpower. That's not a lack of commitment. That's a missing frequency. And this is why so many people keep coming back to practitioners, to healers, to modalities again and again. Not because healing isn't happening, but because without the full octave, the pattern can't fully resolve. When we activate those dormant hidden pieces, when we provide the complete harmonic template, the body knows exactly what to do. It's always capable. It just needs the full picture. It's got all of the codes and all of the information there. It just needs the complete picture. Which brings me to something I'm really excited about. In 4 days' time, I'm hosting a live event, 90 minutes workshop called The Octave of Stability. And I want to be very clear about what this is and what it isn't. This isn't a teaching event where I walk you through concepts. We're actually going to do it. Before the workshop is over, you'll have crystal clear understanding of the missing pieces that have been keeping you and your clients stuck in cycles of destabilisation, a process to activate the lost aspects, the dormant frequencies your system has been waiting for, a complete set of those frequencies and a manual so that you can use this for yourself and your clients from day one. And this is a system you can plug in directly into your practice to empower your clients to stabilize, heal, and then hold that stability. And this workshop's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to run through all of the processes, and I'm looking forward to you joining along if this resonates with you and you'd like to become more stable, but maybe even help your clients, family, and friends to become more stable and come back to their true selves, and to help navigate through this semi sort of crazy or really crazy time that's playing out right now. So I'll leave a link below. And maybe, if you'd love to join us, I'd love to see you, love to support you, love to help you. Because the world is going through something really big right now, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon, but you don't have to be swept along with it. Stability is your birthright. Coherence is your natural state. And when you come back to that, like truly back to that, everything else follows. I'll see you in the workshop really soon. Ciao.